All right, guys, welcome back to Zano Football. Definitely appreciate the support. We are going to get nerdy here. We're going to get into a subject that is probably one of my favorite components about the passing game, and that's pass protection. And I want to dive into the details of pass protection because they've added some stuff for us. You know, we have empty, we have base, and full slide. And obviously we have half slide as well. It's really hard to think of a initial point to start talking about pass protection, which is why it's taken me a while to come up with a lot of videos to drop. So I figure, you know what, since I have a hard time doing it, I'm just going to drop a video and then just kind of expand on that from that point forward. And I found something in the game that I just was amazed by, and it's the fact that they do have the dual read by the running back in pass protection. I really admire the fact that they've really progressed in the game of College 25, and all this stuff is going to be in Madden 25, which just makes the game so much better from a strategic standpoint. So why don't we get right into this? All right, guys, pass protection may seem like a very complicated subject, but, you know, as I do with everything, even when it comes to defense, offense, I like to condense things down to make it simpler to understand. So I'm just going to show you the way I look at it, and maybe this will help people out there, okay? So the way I look at it, there's really only 4 different types of fronts out there, okay? I go by even, odd, bear, and double A-gap mug. Now this video is just for half slide protection in the game. Obviously you have base, you have empty, you have full slide, so you know, hopefully I'll get to making videos on that, but I just want to get into half slide protection. But some of the subjects of this video will carry over. All right. So what do I mean by odd, even, bear, and double A-gap mug? Let's go onto the field. We're gonna pick. I forgot what I picked here. Okay, we're gonna go to 4-4 split. Okay, maybe not. Okay, 4-4 split. Okay, this is an even front. Right away, this is an even front. Let's move on to something else. We're going to go to stack from 3-3-5. This is an odd front. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to maybe 3 more. 4-2-5 under. That's an even front. Move on to the next one. 3-3-5, 3 high. That's an odd front, right? So right away you can see a common denominator. We're looking at the amount of bodies on the first level defenders, and obviously that's an odd front. Here's bear. Okay, bear is where we have all of the offensive linemen covered. Now don't kill me on that, guys. You know, that's just the way I condense it down. That's the best way for me to see it, and once you condense it down that way, for me at least, it's made my understanding on knowing who's going to pick up who, why, you know, a particular protection is better than a different protection based upon the front, and etc. Okay, for those of you who don't think pass protection is important, I think it is most important when you are dealing with blitz happy aggressive players, because you want to know when you have to throw hot, you want to know when you don't have to throw hot. You want to know what pass protection is best against the front or the look that they are giving you, etc. So you kind of got to start off with the building blocks of this. So let's go back to all of those fronts, and we're going to get into 5-man slide protection and College 25's half slide protection with the dual read running back, which had me pretty excited when I saw that it's implemented into the game, because I know all of this is going to be in Madden 25, guys. Okay, so this was the first picture I showed you. This was an even front, all right? Now, you know, with slide protection, let's say we're going to slide left. I have a video on this. I made a video on this, I believe, in Madden 21, maybe Madden 22. About the ID the mic feature, all right? And it's kind of funny because all of what I stated in that video is still true in today's game of College 25. It will be the same in Madden 25 and beyond, okay? So let's say that we called a play. We have 5 routes going out. The running back is going out into the route. into the flat, whatever he's going to do, a Texas route, doesn't matter. All right, so we only have 5 offensive linemen in the pass protection. Okay, if you were to press L1 or whatever it is on Xbox, and you hit X, so you get to ID the mic. All right, and let's say we ID this linebacker as the mic. What that's going to do is that sets where the slide is going to be. All right, so check out JT O'Sullivan. He has a video on offensive line protection and what it's all about. A very informative video, and that pretty much gave me the most understanding on pass protections. Definitely check it out. I'll probably leave a link in the description. All right, so the first uncovered lineman away from the slide would be the center. So he's involved in the slide. We're going to get a 3-man slide, and they're going to deal with these 3 defenders on this side. We're all going to slide to our slide side gap. All right, so that's taking care of these 3 players here. All right, on the opposite side of the slide, we're going to get man to man, big on big. So our right guard will be man to man with this defender here. Our right tackle is dealing with this defender here. And what that means is we are hot off of these defenders here. Okay, if this guy were to come or this guy were to come, we don't have a pass protector to pick him up, right? But pass protection isn't about having a offensive lineman to pick up every rusher, right? You just need an answer for every rusher. That's the best way for me to describe it. Our answer for these 5 rushers is our offensive line protection and the slide and the big on big, etc. Our answer for these 2 defenders, if they were to come, is to throw hot. That's what throwing hot is all about. In other words, if both of these players come, we know as a quarterback we are good with this player. All right, we're not worried about him. He's coming on the slide side. The slide's going to take that, right? But if this player comes in conjunction with that, all right, we don't have anyone to pick him up because these 2 players are tied up man to man on these players. So what that means is we have to get rid of the ball before he gets there. That's what throwing hot is all about. We have a route to go to in the play to where the ball will be gone before he gets to the quarterback. And ideally, see, the defense can always bring more than what the offense can block, but the offense always has the ability to decide what player that will be, right? So we can make this guy the hot based upon the protection scheme. How we would do that, we would just set this guy as the mic. And what that would mean is now our center, guard, and tackle are going to slide this way to pick up these 3. We're going to be big on big with these 2 defenders here, okay? Which would mean that this guy is the hot, okay? And pass protection is directly tethered to the passing concept that you have called. All right, so maybe I'll get into that in a different video because there may be a reason why you would want this guy to be the hot as opposed to this player. All right, and it's directly tied to the passing concept that you have called. All right. So if I were to show you pretty much any even front in the game, the concept is still the same with the slide of the 3-man slide, and then we're big on the opposite side, and then whoever's left over, those are your hots. All right. Now let's get to an odd front. An odd front, we are using the same protection. We are sending 5 out into routes. So you call a play, you have 5 going out into routes. You want to ID the mic because you want to slide a certain way. It's a little bit different against an odd front. All right. So let's say we tag this guy as the mic in this odd front. Okay, you go to that first uncovered lineman opposite of the slide. So it's not the center anymore, right? You see how the center is covered? So the first uncovered lineman is our right guard. So he's involved in a slide. That's why we get a 4-man slide. So we have 4 in the slide, and now these 4 defenders are accounted for in the slide. Then our remaining offensive lineman is now big on big, so he has this left end, right? So what does that leave for us? That means that this player and this player, we are both hot. We are hot off of these defenders, all right? So in a situation where these guys are coming and we are tied up on the slide side, and obviously he's big on big, we would have no one to pick up this guy if he comes on a blitz, or this defender here. So what that would mean is we have to get rid of the ball before they get there, right? So we are hot off of these defenders. So let's move on to the next odd front, and maybe you will see a common theme that we are getting at here. All right, so this is a different odd front, right? But you don't have to be confused about the slide protection because everything's still the same. Okay, so let's say we set this guy as the mic. Okay, where's our first uncovered lineman away from the slide side? Number 71, right? So he's involved in the slide. We get a 4-man slide. So these 4 are accounted for in the slide. We go to the right tackle. He's big on big, so he has this guy. So what does that mean? We are hot off of this defender, right? Because if everyone were to come, we have all of these defenders accounted for in the slide and the man-to-man protection, so we would have no one for this defender, so we would have to throw hot off of this defender. So I'm just showing you this so you can see how it doesn't matter how the front is set, where the second level defenders are, everything's still the same, whether it's an even front or an odd front. The slide principles are the same in the half slide protection. All right, so why don't we move on to where I want to get to with the dual read running back. So what I just described is where you come out in a passing play and it's the default blocking scheme for against most fronts. I got to throw that in there. And then you decide to ID the mic on your own. You know, that's pretty much how it goes. Now, obviously there are minor discrepancies with that, but that's the majority of what happens, okay? Well, let's get into 6-man pass protection where you decide to include the running back and the blocking scheme, okay? And, you know, I know you've noticed when you utilize the half slide here, when you come out and for your passing play, pretty sure you've noticed that whenever you do that, it automatically turns the running back from whatever route that he has called, and it turns him into an automatic check release. Okay, so, you know, if you have him on a wheel route, a table route, Texas route, whatever, okay, it's going to cancel that route and have it to where he will play the check release, and then he will release out into the route if he does not have to check for the blitz, all right? But the thing is, in College 25, and I'm pretty sure for Madden 25, they have it to where he actually does it right, and they have the dual read incorporated with it, all right? And I'm going to show you what that is. So just to make it clear, up to this point, everything that I've shown you in pass protection is assuming that you are not selecting a pass protection scheme. So in other words, you come out in your play, you have 5 receivers going out into routes. Okay, so it's a 5-man protection scheme, and you did not select half slide, full slide, empty, or base. Okay, you just have the default pass protection set, and then you can ID the mic, which dictates where the slide side will be. Now, if you don't ID the mic, then wherever the mic is at on the play, then that is where the slide side is incorporated, and obviously the opposite side is the man-to-man side. All right, so on to the original title of this video. Let's say we come out and this is the look that the defense has given us, and obviously they are showing that they are coming to bring pressure. It looks like cover 0, right? I have a series that, you know, is dedicated to how to attack cover 0. I think I have part 1, part 2, and part 3. I think that was for Madden 23, I want to say. But the concepts still apply, all right? So we have a post route from our one receiver on the right. Let's say that that is really where we want to go to in this play, all right? And the reason why that is because one of the weaknesses of cover 0 is the deep middle portion of the field. So if you're able to get enough time and attack the deep middle of the field, you have an opportunity for a very big play, right? So that's one of the ways you can get people to get out of cover 0 is to exploit them deep and punish them with massive yardage whenever they bring cover 0. But what you have to do is be able to hold up front and have enough time for those routes to develop, okay? So let's say this is the look, and in Madden they have a lot of different pass protection schemes that you can pick, but we are dealing with half slide. All right, so when you pick half slide, left or right, I know you've noticed that if your back is going out into a route, let's say a wheel route or a flat pattern, when you select half slide left or right, it will automatically change his route into a check release. All right, so half slide, when you select it in Madden, it's a 6-man protection scheme, all right? And when you select half slide left, the same principles apply to what I've shown already. So let's say we select half slide left. What's going to happen is we're going to slide to this dime back here who is on the line of scrimmage, right? We're always dealing with the line of scrimmage first. And due to this being an even front, all right, first uncovered lineman away from the slide is the center. So now this is our slide side. So these three are going to pick up the dime and the two defensive linemen on the line of scrimmage. Backside, our guard and tackle are big on these two guys. All right, and what's left would make us in a 5-man protection hot off of these two defenders, right? But in 6-man protection with the half slide in Madden, we are actually blocking the back, and he is in a check release. Now, in pass protection, you're always taught to block inside out. Okay, so if you have two defenders coming at the quarterback, unless this is just theory, if you only have one blocker, that blocker is always going to take the inside rusher, okay? And, you know, the reason why that is because the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So that inside rusher has a shorter path to the quarterback as opposed to the outside rusher. So you would rather the quarterback to have the maximum amount of time to throw the ball if they're going to allow a free rusher to come to the quarterback, all right? So in this instance, the back is in a check release, and it will put that HB icon on this backer here, okay? But here is where they've incorporated something that was not in Madden. In Madden, okay, he would be check releasing this backer, and let's say at the snap of the ball, the backer does not come, well then the running back will release out into a route, all right? But, you know, in real life, what they have is called a dual read for the running back, all right? So what he's going to do is he checks to see if this backer comes on a blitz. If he comes, I will block him. However, if this backer does not come on a blitz, then he will turn and look to see if the remaining defender on the outside comes on a blitz. All right, now if that guy comes, I'll pick him up. But if he doesn't, then and only then will he release out into his route. That's what they have called as a dual read. So in every Madden, they did not have the dual read in the game. And, you know, I'll show you why that kind of hurts you as an offense. And this is what I hated in Madden. So I opened up Madden 24 to show you. All right, so let's say we are sliding left. All right, so we are picking up these three defenders with our left tackle, left guard, and center because we are assuming that this is a cover zero blitz. All right, that means we are big on big here with these defenders here. All right, so in a 5-man protection, we would be hot off of these two defenders. Okay, but let's say we want to add the back into the protection. So we're gonna have him in a dual read, all right? And he would be blocking inside out. So with this, he would check to see if the backer comes on a blitz. If the backer comes on a blitz, this inside guy, then he would pick him up in protection, all right? Which would mean if both of these players come, then we're just hot off of this defender, okay? However, if this backer does not come and he releases out into coverage, well then in a dual read, he's reading 1 to 2. He will then check to see if the number 2 comes on a rush. And if he does, then he will pick him up. Okay, so what this means is with this protection, as the quarterback, you are only hot when both of these defenders come on a rush. Okay, because if the middle backer just comes, then we know the back will take him and we're just hot off of this defender here. But if this linebacker goes out into coverage and the outside linebacker comes, we know that we're good. Okay, so that's where you get the phrase, it takes 2 to be hot, right? It takes 2 on this side to be hot on the side where the running back is in his dual read. Now in Madden, if you had a check release on the back, he would check to see if one player came, but if that one player didn't come, then he would release out into a route. And you can see the problem here because if this backer decided to go out into coverage, then this back would check release, see that he's not coming, and split out into a route. And then we would have a free rusher at the quarterback. In a situation where they are bringing 6, we have the potential to block 6 to pick it up so we can go deep. Okay, so, you know, I know that may sound a little bit over the top, but adding a simple thing like the dual read with the running back can really help you out in your passing game against cover zero because, you know, in a situation where they show blitz, they're very aggressive, and they only bring 6, you know, having your back in a dual read can kind of assure you that looking at two defenders, if only one of them come, you know that you're good and you can attack deep and be very proficient in your offense against cover zero. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and roll this. This was Madden 24 that I opened up the game just to show you how they didn't have the dual read into the game. This back is check releasing on this backer, but you'll notice that the backer doesn't come, so he goes out into a route, and then the outside linebacker, who he should have dual read on, gets a free rush at the quarterback. Alright, so if you remember the diagram I had earlier, that diagram was a direct illustration of what we see here. Alright, so I knew he was playing cover zero, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to half slide to the left, as I showed earlier. So we'll be big on the right, and then when you put in the half slide pass protection, it puts the back into a dual read. So I know he's reading 1 to 2, okay, and you will see that he indeed checks to see if the back comes. The back doesn't come, but then he peels off to get the nickel coming off at the edge because he is in a dual read. All right, so I come out. I knew it's cover zero. You know what? I'm going to half slide to the left. And as you see here, HB icon on that backer there. And that's the thing. The game doesn't depict or show you that there's a 1-2 read with the back. I only noticed this when I went back to the replay and saw this. And I looked at the animation of the back, and I'm like, is he dual reading? And sure enough, I went to the practice field and labbed it out, and he is. Okay, so he's reading 1 to 2. Watch what happens. I really want to go to that deep post there against cover zero. Middle doesn't come, but look how he peels out for that nickel on the strong side, and we make a big throw for a touchdown. Video's almost over. All right, snap the ball. Look at the back. Notice how he's looking at the linebacker because, again, he's in a dual read. And then when he sees the backer doesn't come, look how he turns and look at the second in his dual read. Okay, which is really cool. I love that they added this to the game because it was not in any prior games. Now, this is an example where you will not see it in action. I half slid to the right, moved my back over, put him in a dual read, but both of them came, so he took the inside rusher. I drifted away from the outside guy and threw my deep post for a big play, first down. So obviously, as we see here, so we see the dual read. Okay, obviously in this situation, if the one read doesn't come on a blitz and the second read doesn't come on a blitz, then he will release out into a route. But look at the animation. You're going to see him look at 1, notice that he's not coming. Then he will turn and look at 2, see that he's not coming, and release out into a route. Very cool addition to the game, as we see here. And this is something that I think you definitely need to incorporate into your game. Again, when you go to half slide, that's half slide left or right in the pass protection, okay, then it will automatically take your back and put him in this check release dual read. All right. Now, I would imagine that you could half slide with that to where he's in a dual read and then make him go out into a route anyways, okay? But, you know, I really don't think that that is necessary because if you were going to do that, then you might as well just leave the original pass protection scheme in and just set the mic because I think they're pretty much the same when you take the back out from his responsibility in their half slide menu option. All right, so the whole point of this video was to kind of give, you know, a little bit of insight on half slide protection with half slide to one side and man-to-man on the other side. And then obviously the second part of this video was to deal with the dual read of the running back. So, you know, I kind of wanted to combine certain things together so it can, you know, give information for a lot of different people. I'll leave timestamps in the beginning so that you can get to the part that is most beneficial for you. Hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.